Hey, welcome everybody. Let's get this party started. Woohoo! So I saw Gibbo was in the house at 8:19, like 40 minutes ago. So, woo, Gibbo, Mumsy is in the house. Chalet is in the house. Wow, this is great. And I thought, well, let's just do some more Gen X stuff. And I came across, something was coming up in my feed with Gen X, and that is, and there's a lot of videos. I watched a couple about going no contact. I have never heard this expression before. And so I thought we could chat a little bit about that. And then I also there's a really good, another video, someone talking about Gen X. I thought we could go over that. But first, I'm going to show you something. This is not a nectarine. It's a fuzzy peach. It's a peach. This is the first time since I moved to Cambodia that there was a peach in the market. There were two in a container. I already ate the first one. I'll eat this one a little bit later. A fresh peach. And the first one was so good. Oh my goodness. I mean, I've had canned peaches, okay, but a fresh peach. I mean, unless I was out traveling somewhere and had one, it's like 17 years since I've had a fresh peach. Yeah, Gibbo says he loves a good peach. Chalet says peachy. Yeah, no contact question mark, right, Chalet? I'd never heard this. So what we say, what I've always said is when you cut someone out of your life, you cut them off. That's what I've always said. But apparently now it's called going no contact. And so there are a lot of Gen Zs and millennials, I guess, that are going no contact with their Gen X parents. And one lady that's a Gen X mom made a TikTok that was like, is this, I guess her son had cut her off, gone no contact. And she's like, is this a trend? And then everybody started when I guess I don't use TikTok, but when one person makes a posts a video, then other people can stitch to it. So it'll play the first one or a part of it, and then you start making your comments about it. So a lot of people are making comments about her and really getting angry at her. Well, not angry, but like just ripping her a new one, I guess, is what we would say as Gen X. Oh, now it's ghost. You're right, but ghosting is usually about friends and boyfriend, girlfriends. Whereas this is Mumsy says you were in heaven. Oh yeah, eating the peach. I was definitely great with cream and sugar too. I'm just gonna eat it like, good stuff. Gibbo says he's buffering again. Give me 5 minutes to break Shell's spell on my internet. Okay, Chalet, emancipated. So emancipation, of course, is when we leave home. I think that our generation, Gen X, if we grew up in a dysfunctional family or whatever, then when you turn 18, you're out of there and you're starting your new life, and nobody, but usually maybe you'll still, you see people on holidays and things like this, right? Where this is like the person. So if somebody is so narcissistic and abusive in your life that you can't even have a conversation without them blaming you and gaslighting you and trying to blame you and put everything on you, even if you're trying to have a conversation like, when I was younger and you did this, it hurt me, and they won't take any responsibility, and it's like, well, I fed you and had a roof over your head and all of this, and so they're like, okay, I don't need this in my, and there's a time and a place that if that someone happens to be your parent and they're toxic in some way, I mean, they're killing your soul, and possibly even physically, whether it's physical abuse or emotional, verbal abuse, then the only way to survive and save yourself is to cut yourself off from them. There's a time and a place for that. But I'm wondering if maybe it's some people it's perceived and it's not really as bad as they think, but they're kind of told like, oh my gosh, they did this, they did that, well, that's horrible. You were abused. They're a narcissist or something, right? Yeah, a few of those. Stealing our joy. Sure, it does happen, and in fact, I've basically experiencing it with my youngest son, who him and his wife decided that they weren't going to have anything to do with anyone on my son's side of the family. His brother and sister, his parents, which is his dad, and then me, his grandparents from both sides, any cousins, nothing, nobody. And they've stuck to it. Now, his dad, my ex, he actually lives in an area, well, because her parents were siblings, I think, of his stepmom, right? So my ex married somebody, and then like her brother or sister, Mom, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but anyway, she's related to the parents of the young woman that my son married, right? So they kept in touch with her family. So then sometimes her family will have the kid, like my grandkids, have their kids over there for a barbecue or something, and my son and his wife go shopping or something. They're kind of like babysitting, and then my ex and the stepmom, his wife, will go visit. So they actually kind of get to see them sometimes. I think that if they found out, then they would stop it. I think it's because they don't know. It's out there now. Queen's in the house. Woohoo! It's her brother. So my ex's wife, my son's stepmother, her brother is the father of my son's wife. Right. And they live with them. Oh, now? So they don't have their own house anymore? Anyway, we're not going to talk about all of that on public. Just to say that I have some experience with this. And yeah, it was an abusive. So I was married for 11 years. There was abuse, and I was definitely more of the codependent enabling side of that. And then when we divorced, my ex ended up with custody. So the kids continued to have abuse. And so it's just, they had enough. And, the last straw was when they had their second child and they named him Alucard Michael Morbius. I had to think for a minute. I had to remember. So Alucard Michael. So Their first son was named Sephiroth, but then had, I think Duncan is a middle name, something else that was like normal, but Sephiroth being the most evil thing in Mortal Kombat, most evil character or something in Mortal Kombat. And then Alucard is Dracula. So the second son, Alucard, is Dracula spelled backwards, and Michael Morbius is like a character that's a vampire. And so when they said that was his name when they were in the hospital, this is the story that I've heard. The story that I've heard. Then Danny's father, my ex, then was just like went off on him. And I can imagine what that is because I lived with it for 11 years. So I can imagine the kind of rant that was bad enough that they decided to just cut, or in this case, going no contact, not just with his dad who had the rant, but with everyone from Danny's side of the family. Very dark. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah, it just started. Gibbo says, I'm not allowed in the chat today. Shell's put a spell on my internet and I have to battle it. Oh, and hugs. Thank you. Thank you for the hugs, Queen. And then Gibbo, yeah, moving on. So Queen, it's my mobile data, always funny. So let me share, because apparently like people are like getting upset about this. So,
you know, when I made this video, the one that's connected to this
okay, so this is the lady that had made that first video. I know you can't really hear it. Let me turn that up. And so it says, my son went no contact with our entire family. I mean, everyone. He has 3 siblings. It's been 7 years. I just want to know what I did wrong. And she's saying, like, when I made this original post or this original video, so I wanted to read that to you because I know you wouldn't be able to see that. Oh, Gibbo. Oh, the mobile data. Yeah. I hope it gets better too. It's the firehead. Hi, Talon. Hi, Fox. So let the next people that talk, I think, will be louder.
I knew that it was a sensitive subject.
It's the fact that we don't owe them an explanation.
She's not talking.
We don't owe them anything.
Very loudly.
Hey beautiful people, how you doing today? Together Destiny here, and welcome back to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing great. So this video is the part 2 video I posted previously. So if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. So the previous video where Gen X mother coming to talk about millennials and Gen Z children who have decided to go no contact with their parents, and this Gen X mom decided to ask, is this a trend that is just going on? A whole lot of millennials and
Gen Z coming out making videos saying that they've gone no contact with their parents.
So the video I'm stitching is not the original video where that clip that you see is from. It's for the woman who posted that. I actually took it down because I think things got a little crazy. And so I'm stitching somebody else who was talking about it. But as somebody who very recently in the past few months has gone no contact with both of my parents, it is not about being a trend. And I think a lot of people like to chalk it up to that, but I want people to sit and really think about what they're saying when they say, are Gen Z and millennials just going no contact with their parents because it's a trend? What person in their right mind wants to go through major life events, whether or not they are good or bad, not having their parents by their side? What person wants to wake up every day making decisions, wanting to call their parents to ask for their opinion, but knowing that they're either going to be berated, dismissed, like any variety of very negative reaction? And I saw a creator talk about this on here a while ago, and I think it is a great way.
So to answer Mumsy has a really good point. Why all problems? Why do people have to go public on our problems? And one of the people that I watched, I don't know if it's in this video or another video, was really talking about how they didn't realize, they knew that it had happened to them, They didn't realize how many other people had also chosen to go no contact. And so they expressed that by them making their video and then other people also joining in, which makes it be like a trend, but they're really finding support, so with each other. They're able to use social media to support each other, in a way that you might not just, maybe in your friend group, you don't have people going through the same thing as you, but by reaching out through social media, then you come in contact with other people going through the same thing and kind of form a support group. Okay. So, but some people, they just do it to, become influencers, to get clicks. If they've got something juicy that they want to spill, they're just doing it to, or maybe even just to get a rise at somebody or to get back at somebody. There are those things too. Gibbo, my brother and I don't really conversate with my family. I go see my mom, my sister around the corner, but the rest, there's just no point. My dad's never done anything for us. And I think there's a lot of people that feel like that. And I think I've heard people expressing feelings like that on the videos that I've seen. Shirley says, my dad doesn't want to talk to me, said my evil stepmother. Ooh, so do we know if he doesn't really want to talk to you? Or is it just the evil stepmother saying that he doesn't want to talk to you? Because sometimes that can happen too. Or maybe she's just big mouth enough to say it. Let's see who's the next person. Let's see what this one was saying.
The concept of boundaries. There's so many ways you could be doing this. There's so many free online resources, content on so many different platforms. You could get a library card and take out the book Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. You might learn something about your own childhood by reading that book. Because it wasn't that your kid started dating someone and then all of a sudden they put ideas in your kid's head and now your kid's gone and you don't know why. What probably happened, and I'm definitely not speaking from experience at all, they started dating someone that comes from a family with healthy boundaries and communication styles, and then your child tried to do that with their own family for who knows how long, perhaps even up to 15 years. And then eventually they had to go no contact with the person who continued to infringe on their boundaries, who continued to show that they were incapable of growth. And obviously.
Okay, so this is like the theme. This is the theme. Oh, he was never there. Okay. She said goodbye forever. Yeah, hugs. We need hugs. This is a tough topic, but it's something that it's, as far as being on social media, maybe it's a trend. I think it's beyond trend. Like I said, my son, it was years ago, so it's not new. But maybe people talking about it on social media is a trend, and it's something that's happening, and it's something that we should be aware of, So basically what she's saying is that the parents that are losing contact they all have the perspective that the parents were bad parents and they won't own up to being bad parents. Yeah, that's pretty much what everybody's saying. And I think that sometimes that's true. Like I said in the beginning, it can be, and it can be necessary, but it's not always. Like, even like with my own son, if he was offended by his father's rant in the hospital, if that's what caused it, he didn't need to cut everybody off. He cut off my dad, his grandfather, my dad, and stuff. I mean, so you can cut off people without cutting off everyone. It was like they went off the deep end with it, I think, myself. But every family has issues. Exactly. Queen says this one hits very close to home too for her. Gibbo says, sometimes I go out in the garden, rub dirt on myself and pretend I'm a carrot. That is a great therapy. Thank you for sharing that. I think we all should go out and try it. Mumsy says it hurts when that happens, but life goes on. It's terrible when family stops talking to one another. Exactly. And it can happen on so many different levels as well. I mean, here we're talking about parents and children, but it can happen between siblings. You know, it can you know, cutting yourself off from family is very, you know, you guys know the saying. Don't you remember the saying? You can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends. You know, and that that's so true. And people make their own new family with people that they choose, and sometimes they leave behind the blood family. And I don't know how good it is. Let's see who else was. Then you got this one. Let's see what she says.
Watch that creator's original video. It's very good explanation. I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in here because I pretty much agree with everything she was saying as far as, you know, my generation, the generation after me, going no contact with parents. And the one thing that I've noticed is a common theme with a lot of people that I know too that have gone no contact with their parents is the fact that they continue to pretend that nothing happened. Like all that trauma you inflicted, everything you did to your children as like when they were young, magically they just don't remember any of it. And how convenient that you don't remember any of that, but yet somehow, some way, all of us are in therapy and all of us are suffering from some sort of PTSD. So you may not remember it, but we're still trying to process it and heal from it. So
Because I am truly perplexed.
Yeah. So they're like I said, it's all blame on everybody that's doing the no contact is 100% right, and all the parents are 100% wrong. And I think that is skewed. You know, I think there are instances where, yes, it was necessary, but I think there are also sometimes where people blow things out of proportion, and it's in their head, not in the reality. I think both can be true. Queen says, I can't get into it, but my kids and family won't talk to me because of something that happened on this platform. No fault of our own. There are some evil people on here. That's all I can say about it. I'm so sorry that that happened. And yeah, you know, when like me, I'm putting myself out here. You never know what kind of attacks could happen. You're completely heartbroken and devastated over it. Oh my gosh. Hugs, 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 Queen. I'm feeling you. I can feel this. I can remember the love. Love has no time and space. Well, you know, a heartbreak and feel, you know, all the feelings have no time and space. I can feel you. Yeah, Mumsy, Chalet, everybody's giving you hugs. Chalet says she can't find her regular emojis. Yeah. All righty. So let's see what this next person
The only
says.
thing that I can imagine this is this a trend?
I could say no, it's not a trend. I definitely know like several millennials, Gen X, that they do not have the best relationship with their parents. And I think like one of the biggest issues with boomers is y'all do not take responsibility for nothing. Y'all will avoid taking responsibility for a lot of the mistakes that you made raising your children. And I don't know what it is with millennials. Gen Z is real. They ain't going for it. I'm like Gen Z. They are very outspoken. They not going to take any crap. They're not going to settle for any of the nonsense. And
you know what really struck me the first time I heard her say that, and then it brings it back now, is that sounds a lot like Gen X. That we're not gonna take anything from anybody, you know, and we'll say what we think. You know, she's saying they're outspoken. I know everyone's kind of saying that we're we're quiet and, you know, don't poke the bear kind of thing. But if that's her assessment of Gen Z, maybe they're going to be more like us than we realize. Be more like Gen X than we realize. Miss the kids and grandbabies the most. Yeah. I you know, it's been 17 years. So Seffi should be coming of age here, you know. Sometimes I wonder if they're ever going to like discover grandma that lives in Cambodia. I don't know. And she says, thank you for, you know, yeah. Mumsy says it's really sad when family stops talking and they don't tell you why. It's hard going on, but we do. Exactly. And what a lot of these people are saying, what these Gen Zs and millennials are saying, is that they can't have a conversation because they're just going to get yelled at, basically. Yelled at or manipulated, and all that bad feeling stuff is going to be projected onto them. So they can, and there's a few of them have said, I tried to reach out. I said, you know, we need to have a therapist with us when we have our conversation. And the parents said, oh, well, no, I'm not doing that. And like in that case, that person didn't feel safe enough to even have a conversation with their parents unless there was somebody there to help mediate that conversation so that they wouldn't get dumped on in the way that they felt that they had been. Now, as the parents, if they would just agree to that, you know, it's not going to, it shouldn't, not going to kill them. I suppose it could hurt them, like, to hear what they don't like if there were things that their child feels traumatized over and they didn't realize that their actions had done that, then yeah, that could hurt. But, you know, getting it out and being willing, if that's the way that they're going to feel safe to have that conversation, being willing to do that, I think that's reasonable. And to say, no, I won't have that conversation with a mediator, because it could work in their favor too. You know, if they're not a monster and they're sitting there with a mediator, then that mediator is going to help. You know, it's just a safety net for the adult child to have them there because they feel like they need them there. You know, so why not? And then be able to move forward. So that person was saying that they reached out and they were willing to work through things and move forward and have a relationship, but the parents said no, they weren't going to take that step. See what you guys are saying. Don't understand how boomer parents being parents to Gen Z, to Gen Z. That's true, you know. And I think that anybody over 40, sometimes they just call boomers. You know? But it'd have to be a late in life baby to be you know, for a boomer to have a Gen Z. Yeah, it doesn't seem, or maybe adopted. Maybe somebody older is adopting. So here in Cambodia, there's a lot of old guys that come here and get young Cambodian wives and have babies. So they're like 50 and 60 years old having babies, you know, but the wife isn't that old, but the guy is that old. Like we were talking about with Anna Nicole Smith. That's friggin' silent generation having a millennial, but the same generation distance, you know. You're confused. Yeah. I know my granddaughter thinks her grandmother's nuts. Yeah. Well, and I mean, like I said, we all have people that we don't particularly like in our families, but you know, you still go. I mean, like when my grandmother was alive, my Gurmy, and I mean, everybody came. She was the matriarch. Everybody came to every holiday. We all got together. We never knew if it was going to be your last. So we all came. And let me tell you, when she did pass away, that was it. And I knew it. I knew it. I knew that it was the end of an era when she passed away, because she held everybody together. She was awesome. Queen says, all you can do is keep reaching out with loving arms, and hopefully in time things change. Well, the one thing I can do, like the only thing I can do that I can figure out with my son, is that he was in the Marines. And so he has a Marine email, which is in my email list, right? And I think he has to keep that email active, because like if they ever needed to call him back, or they needed to, if the government and the Marines needed to contact him, they would use that email, right? So he can't get rid of that email. And I'll, on his birthday or whatever, I try to send him a happy birthday message, but there's never any reply. But it doesn't come back. I don't get a message that this email no longer exists, right? So that's all I can, to let him know that I still think about him, I still love him. That and then I let it go. When my kids were younger, but I mean, like in their teens, I sat each one of them separately and had a conversation with them, actually accepting my responsibility for the things that I had done wrong, and telling them that I was sorry for whatever things I did that were wrong. It's not all their dad, that I did things wrong too, and that I was sorry for it. And I've never looked back after that. That was it. I had that moment with them, and if they accept it or don't accept it, that's on them. But I did my part on that. Your daughter thinks her grandmother is nuts. Yeah, I got that. Brainwashed. The other side of the family will brainwash. It happens. Especially, one thing that's not addressed here is how much more divorce there is, how many more blended families there are. TV sitcoms and stuff try to make it look like, oh, things can work out, and blended families and stuff, and they can, but I think that there's a lot more family dynamics the more you have a divorce, and then you have a remarriage, and then you have more kids, and then those divorce, and then there's another marriage or whatever. How many times do we see things about people with baby daddies, and they got like 5 different baby daddies, and they were never married to any of them, I mean, there's now those kids are now growing up and being adults, and yeah, there probably is a lot of trauma. Queen says, I know what it's going to take for all of us to go on Dr. Phil or something. Completely not joking. I had years of therapy. Like before I got to the point of like having that apology time with my kids, I had already had years of therapy. Years. So yeah, I know it's a hard road. It's a journey, but we take it, No, yeah. Have Miss Dr. Phil as a mediator. Better than Jerry Springer. Why do you have to agree? The younger people only want you to believe the way they think. That's true. You don't always have to agree, but and you see, that's one of the problems I think with the younger generation. Why I've said that yes, there are times where it's necessary, but I think it might be overblown, because this younger generation really is they. It's kind of funny because while they're talking about their parents or somebody being a narcissist, which is like the epitome of selfishness, there's a point where you need to protect yourself and have self-love and everything. But then there's a point where you can become selfish as well, by taking it kind of the other way to be selfish. It's all about me. It's all about my feelings all the time. There's no more compromise anymore. You know, that's a real problem that I'm seeing in society today. Nobody can have a conversation. Nobody, I mean, whatever happened to debate clubs? Do they even still exist in school anymore? Because it seems like people wouldn't be able to have a debate, like a real debate. Like, here's my point, here's my point, here's my point, here's my point, right? They, no one can even have a conversation, much less, you know, say, well, my feelings are this, and listen to the other person's feelings as well. You know, sometimes you're the one that's wrong, not the other person. Or what you think is wrong is a perception that's in your head, but isn't really reality. That happens. I'm not saying that everybody that does a no contact is like that, but I'm saying some of them do. There's nothing new under the sun, Chalet says. Exactly. Gibbo says, they call me the king of the nuts. Head cashew. Randy Savage. You nut. Unless he is signed up as a reserve, then he may not have access to the email anymore. But that depends on how high up. Oh, he wasn't high up. You know, bless his heart. The recruiters had a meeting with me because he was a senior in high school. He was 18. And the recruiters wanted to meet mom and answer any questions and everything, but he'd already signed his papers. And I said, okay, well, what job did you sign up for? Or they're talking to me, so I look at them and I said, well, what job did he sign up for? And they looked down. They didn't want to say. And they're like, Danny, tell your mom what job you signed up for. His first choice job was infantry. Who chooses infantry? But anyway, after he did his boot camp, he ended up like in the kind of like a shipping department, you know, it's actually like a travel agency. So like when people need to relocate, you know, so this person is moving from this base to this base and they need to have their things coordinated. Maybe they've got family that lives, you know, generally it's the officers, right? That they have their families with them and then they're being transferred to a different base. And so their family needs to be relocated and they have a department that is basically like a travel agency that arranges all that travel relocation information. And so he was there in that department. So, and until he served his time and then he left. And so, yeah, but I don't think they would like keep the account open if, you know, I don't know. I'm still, as long as it's not coming back to me that this email no longer exists, I'm sending him something that says, I love him and happy birthday. Usually when kids have kids of their own, then they realize exactly, Chalet, you know, that's the normal rotation of the generations. Queen says, yes, lies and brainwashing is very harmful to the family unit. Gibbo says, the issue today is families are frowned upon. Look at the news. It's negative towards Britain and America. The Euros, all I've heard of is when will England fans kick off? Definitely that like a core family unit is the exception rather than the rule these days, I think. Chalet says, oh yes, they want the family to be separated. Yeah, divide and conquer. Oh, this guy, this other one I have for you guys is so funny. Well, let me get through your comments and then we'll leave this topic and we'll jump over to the other guy because he says that he thinks that Gen X, and I think is a little bit of sarcasm here, but he says that he thinks maybe there was a military operation going on when Gen X was growing up. And it's hilarious. Queen says there has to be an even playing field, and learning how to fight or resolute fairly and respect opinions and feelings and perspectives. Exactly. And if you can have that, everybody can move forward. Everyone can have their own differences, but you still get together on Thanksgiving and Christmas, you know, rather than just have, you know, going no contact. It's a victim mentality. It is on both sides. And Mumsy says we need to respect one another. RESPECT. Yes, respect is the key. Oh, Gibbo was infantry. Well, I'm glad you're still here with us, and thank you for your service, even if it was for the UK and not America. It's still, you gave of your time and you know, of yourself. So thank you for that. Queen, stepping out of one's shoes to where the others' outlooks and feelings, etc. That's what we need more of, for sure. You were a bullet catcher. Wow. You mean like when you have one person going boom, 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 and there's that line of bullets that's going through? Oh, no. Oh, I get it. You catch the bullets because you got shot, and then you're a bullet catcher. I get it. I was thinking like catching the round, you know, like the brass from the, when you have that big line of bullets that's going through a machine gun. And then there's the one person firing, and then there's always an assistant person there. Well, they're actually, I think, helping feed it in straight so that it doesn't get jammed. But anyway, no, I it kind of went over the head a minute, and then I got it. Okay. Coming to an understanding of each other. Indeed. Love your family. Maybe not like them so much. Yeah, it's the way it should be. We salute you, Gibbo. Yes, everybody. All right. So we're caught up. So let's go ahead and leave this and see why this guy thinks that maybe Gen X was used. Oops. I must have accidentally slipped on. Give it a second. It's on an ad. As soon as the ad's over, and I'll pause. We can make some comments. Oops. Okay, here we go. Share this tab instead. Let me look. Let me see. Okay, you see this guy. This guy's great. That's what we call the infantry. We go in and they shoot at us, and then the artillery target them. Oh, yeah. So because once someone makes a shot, you can see where their position is. So then artillery would go after their position. Got it. Yeah. No, like I said, yeah. Oh, you get shot and you've caught the bullets. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's listen to what this guy has to say. He's hilarious. Like I said, I'll pause throughout and we can chat on some things.
Hey, why do Generation X think that they're so tough? And without even a thought, I said, because we are. He said, oh, you got it, OG. It was that simple.
What's OG? Like original granddad? I don't know. Original, like I can understand OP, original poster. Like what's OG? What's the G in OG? Please tell me. Original Gibbo. Gangster. Ah, thank you. I mean, everybody, I hear it all the time. Okay. Original gangsta. All righty. All right, let's keep going.
Face gestures. See, what you got to understand about Generation X, and me personally, is I think Generation X was a secret military project that went off the rails. Let me explain.
Okay, we'll give you a chance.
We grew up tough. You already know the water hose and all of that stuff. That's how we grew up. So we was outside. If you didn't bleed, you didn't have fun. That was Generation X. We had good and bad.
If you didn't bleed, you didn't have fun. This guy, I mean, this guy's great.
And everything. Batman.
Oh,
Superman. He-Man.
We're going to get to the playgrounds.
Evel Knievel. We had these guys as heroes. Then we had Super Dave Osborne. But when we got into Evel Knievel, we started using our resources and we started thinking, well, we can't jump over cars. So we found a piece of wood, got some bricks or a rock.
Because MacGyver was really just about Gen X. We were smart. We were creative. We figured out ways to do things that hadn't been done before, or maybe that had been done, but we figured out a different way to do it. Yeah, buddy.
And we started jumping our bikes off of those. Tough. We grew up with cowboys and Indians. If we had enough people and we couldn't get to the park, we would go to the field and we'd throw rocks at each other. And the only rule that we had was don't hit nobody in the face, because then you get hit in the face, you're going to get a whooping when you get home. I got hit in the face with a rock.
Doesn't matter. That the whole reason you don't hit someone in the face with a rock isn't because you could hurt them. It's because you're going to get a whooping when you get home. Did you catch that? Yeah. Oh, but these one. And did any of us do no contact? Okay, let's keep going. This is good.
The guy who hit me and my whole crew, they was more terrified than I was. Look. I got stitches right there on my lip because I got busted. But we left no man behind. So what happened was, once they saw the blood everywhere, they all got together, made sure I was good, and they all walked me to the house. My boy knocked on the door because he thought it was going to be safer for him to knock on the door than me, because they already knew that I was going to get it, because I wasn't supposed to be playing with the rocks, let alone get hit in the face. The reason why I say that we was military operation that went bad is because, just think about this. If you're a Gen Xer right now, think about the parks that we went to as kids. It was boot camp. Think about it. Our parks was a little boot camp for the military. And to bring up one thing is that Gen X, if I'm not mistaken, has the most military recruits of any generation. And right now, we have the most military veterans walking around amongst you. Quiet. Not saying nothing. We just chill. I know that because I travel out the country a lot. And when I'm sitting at the bar talking to people, mostly all of them are military vets from the United States. And we just being quiet, just
I was like wondering, oh, has he been to Cambodia?
chilling, enjoying a nice, relaxing time. So everybody that's talking need to be careful, because you never know who you're walking around. But let's get back to the military operation. Have you guys ever seen this at your Gen X? Have you seen this at your park?
Yes, we have seen they get hot in the sun. They're just metal bars, monkey bars and stuff. Let's see what you guys are seeing. Okay, good. I got some stories here. Queen says we were very inventive and creative engineers. Yes, we were MacGyvers. Chalet says, my brother and I played cowboy and Indians. He mentions cowboys and Indians coming up. You are just like, you're ahead of the curve here, Chalet. You're ahead with the playgrounds. You're ahead with the cowboys and Indians. His attitude is what's wrong with today. Oh, this guy's attitude? But he's a Gen Xer. No man left behind. We stand behind him. The boomers raised us. Yes. And we got one of them right here in the chat. Queen says she caught lots of whoopings. Yeah. Oh, when he starts talking about getting the whoopings and he talks about spare the rod, spoil the child, the switch and everything. I'm like, wait, he didn't mention the wooden spoon. The wooden spoon. Duh. Chalet says, exactly. I hate stuff. If I got hurt, I didn't tell. Yeah, we didn't need, unless there was a lot of blood and you couldn't hide it, Gibbo says, Shell, me and my brother used to fight. And when my dad asked what we were doing, we would say, who wins takes you on for the big seat. He stopped talking to us when we hit 14. Oh. Queen says, me too, because they'd be like, how exactly did this happen? See, we can relate. This guy's funny, Mumsy, you really don't like this guy? I think we're all getting in. Like, there's some sarcasm here, but it's out of truth. Chalet says, yeah, because we got hurt doing stuff we weren't supposed to. Oh, there's my childhood. Yep, there you go. Queen says, us 5 kids were modeling outside to each other. Oh, we're evil. Oh, okay. Gibbo says, sometimes we would war against my sister's Power Rangers versus Flower Rangers. Mumsy says, yeah, she doesn't like this guy. All right, well, hang in there and give me my watch hours. Just hang in. Put it on mute if you don't like it. We're having fun. Chalet says this guy's totally relatable. I was busting up the whole time I was watching this the first time. Spell checker has jokes today. Yeah. All right, here we go.
Basic training 101. The monkey bars. Monkey bars. This was at our park. They also second as a basketball court because if the big guys was on the court, we just used the monkey bars as our basketball court if we wasn't climbing them.
He's got some good playground stuff coming up, but I just want to mention that when he put that picture up and he's talking about boot camp, I was like, oh my gosh, I had never made that kind of connection before. It really was like the same stuff they're doing in boot camp. Even sometimes you'd have those tires that you would like go through and stuff. Oh my gosh. But wait till you get to the merry-go-round.
Then they brought in this NASA stuff, which we were really gun-ho about America and wow, we gonna be astronauts. Have you seen this? And you watch how you guys look when you see this. But this is an obstacle that was at our park. This. Brought back some memories, didn't it? I know it did.
Didn't have one
Look,
that big.
when I found this picture, my legs started trembling because I remember some older dude taking my toy and taking it up there, and you had to go up and get it. And they would just laugh at you to see if you make it or not. That's just what we did.
See, they would just laugh at you to see if you would get up there. You know, and I mean, there's like bullying. There's like real bullying. And then there's other stuff where it's kind of like the older kids got to pick on the little, the younger kids. You got picked on, in a way that's not like violent bullying. That's never acceptable. But like they'd tease us, they'd do tricks on us, things like that, and we all experience that for sure. Let me go through some of your comments. So Chalet says, talk about torture for your hands. Yeah, going on the monkey bars. Can still feel the sting. Gibbo says, if we hurt a sibling, don't tell mom. Look, I'll hit myself. He's basically right. Mumsy says, at least the kids were outside playing and not inside on cell phones like today. Yes, Mumsy. I don't think any one of us is complaining about the freedom that we had. We talk about it like it's a badge of honor, and it's kind of like our version of when I was your age, I had to walk 5 miles to school through the snow, right? We've all heard that. And it's kind of our version of it. And I don't think one of us feels like we were abandoned because we were kicked out of the house and we couldn't play in the house and we had to stay out until the street lights came on and we had to drink with water hoses and no. What we're saying is we had freedom. For me, that's how I feel. That's how I felt. I didn't feel neglected or abandoned at all. At all. I don't have any trauma from that. I might have trauma from other things, but I don't have trauma from that. Or here, I'll let you hit me back, right? Chalet, we were totally American pro, all the rocket slides. Yeah, yeah. Pro American, red, white, and blue, everything. Yeah. Plus, when a lot of us were growing up, we had the bicentennial. We were kids when the bicentennial happened. So at least I was 10. And I know I'm at the high end. But Chalet says, oh my gosh, my brother and I would try to climb on top of them. All right, on the out. I get what you're saying. Not just climb up inside to the top, but climb on top of the rocket slide. Got it. Absolutely. True, Christine. Queen says the slide was too boring. Yeah, just a normal slide. What's that? Yeah. You got to climb on the top of the slide when you're not supposed to. And then Queen mentions dodgeball and Holy, the tetherball at school. I love tetherball. I was good at tetherball. I loved it. When I had my kids and we bought a house, I got a tetherball to put in the yard, in the backyard. We had a tetherball. Yeah, you can't have kids. Yeah, nowadays it's hard to. We're aware of too many threats to just let the kids go out, even though we survived it. But I think that's how we ended up being the helicopter parents, scared us to death. Red Rover. Yeah. Parents used to not go to jail for having their kids play at the park alone. Well, that's true. Come home with the street lights are on. Oh yeah, we had a big parade in 1976. Yep. They are raising it's like the whole year. It wasn't just one. There were several parades and everything. I think Great America at the amusement park opened in 1976, if I recall as well. But there was like a train, a bicentennial train that was like going across America. So, and it had like a big museum of stuff, and might have even had the the Declaration of Independence in it or something. I don't know, but had all kinds of memorabilia, historical stuff. And I remember going to it. I don't remember what I saw on it, but I remember my Gurmy taking me to it. Maybe Mumsy and Gurmy, but definitely Gurmy. Queen says they are raising a generation of incompetent people. Too much mollycoddling. Yeah, now, yeah. But you know what though? I want to clarify something that I think. As long as I'm here and I'm putting myself out here, you guys want to know what I think? That it's not the parents that are doing the mollycoddling. It's the school. The public schools are the ones that are raising the kids and filling them with all this stuff. Not the parents. Not the Gen X and not the millennials as parents, but the kids in the schools are, and the schools have become surrogate. It's like the parents are just birthing cows or whatever, and the school teacher and the school system is the parents. I mean, they're the ones that are filling their minds with a lot of this stuff. And TV, and now social media, so they're more interested in what they see with Taylor Swift than what parents are saying. Parents are taking their kids to Taylor Swift. What the heck? I don't know. Anyway, continuing. We want this guy's got some good stuff to say. We want to keep going, but I want to catch up on your comments here. Gibbo says we would climb on the outside of the climbing frames and jump to the next one. If they were close enough. Even if they weren't close enough, we'd still try. Remember all the Uncle Sam posters? Yeah. Gibbo says to Queen, the socialist government dream a nation that relies on the state to tell us how to live and whatnot. Well, exactly. Look, I just said that, but you already had it written there. Yep. Uncle Sam wants you. Exactly, Gibbo. Idiots and non-thinking sheep people. Sheeple. I didn't delete a comment, but it says when it was deleted. Okay, I don't know where that came from. Oh, Snow's not here. Or maybe she's listening. I don't know. Queen says, we were Indiana Jones and Lara Croft. Exactly. They modeled it after us, for sure. One of you is Queen. One of yours. Maybe it was a word you used. Don't know. Well, thank you for keeping an eye on that because I don't see any of that when I'm over here in StreamYard. Queen says, right, Chalet, I see that yesterday. People just need to own stuff and apologize and move on. Yeah. Don't. Oh, there's Snow. Snow's in the house. Snow's in the house. Excellent. Gibbo says, don't you blame TV. It's okay. The nasty lady has stopped now. Snow, welcome, welcome. Okay, everyone's saying hi. All right, time to play some more. I'm telling you, the way he describes the merry-go-round is so spot on, as they say in England.
Did as Gen Xers. And also, y'all remember the guy on TV that was the astronaut, and they put him in that thing that went in circles like 100 miles an hour? We had that at the park too. It was this. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Little kids get on it, and then the big kids spin it around as fast as they could spin it to see how far we could fly off. We just grew up tough. That's just how we were.
We grew up tough. Isn't that true? Isn't that true? Okay, no talking about deleting comments. I know you're not. Nobody's deleting any comments. Okay. Alrighty. What do you guys think of the merry-go-round? The big kids push it around. The little kids get on it. The big kids push it around to see how far the little kids will fly off. That is so true. Come on, we're talking about Gen X. Okay, what else is he going to say?
But then I think along the way is that they found out that we were a little too tough and too nonchalant and too quiet. The reason why we were quiet was because that we didn't disrespect our elders. If you was older than us, we didn't talk back. I know some of you remember just
because if you talk back, you can get smacked.
Trying to talk back to your mother. And not only did you get beat by your mother and then your pops when he got home, and if any of your uncles or anything came over and they found out, oh, you was talking back to your mama, you get it from them too. It was just, what they say, spare the rod, spoil the child. We know what the rod is, and the switch, and the extension cord, and the chancla. We know what all that is because we done got beat by them all while we was growing up. But we all had this unity about ourselves within that age range that if you was with us, you was with us. So if we got kicked out the house like we always did, they kick us out the house and make sure that you come back before the street lights come on. So we go knock on the door. Ms. Johnson, can Thomas come out? Thomas, go with your friends. Come back before the lights go off. Joe, can Joe come outside? Joe, go play. Come back before the lights come on. But then we didn't forget Timmy. Let me tell you who Timmy was. We go knock on the door.
This is a good story. And I love this story, and I'll tell you why after. Everybody playing nice in here? All I know is BS does not baffle brains. Come back when the street lights are on. Yes. Yo, Chalet says her mom's pretty cool. I can tell by the pictures. Timmy. Oh, this is a great story about Timmy. So we'll pause it when he's done, and we'll talk about this story about Timmy.
A lot of people didn't know Timmy's name. A couple of us did. But most of us that hung out didn't know what Timmy's name was. We asked, could Timmy come out? And then his parents, Timmy, how you feeling? You want to go outside? Your friends are here. Timmy was the most excited. Timmy was the one with the short leg and the orthopedic shoe. We didn't leave him out either. He came with us and we protected him. But Timmy was ready to scrap. And the guys who didn't know his name, they're like, oh, I didn't know his name was Tim. I thought that was the pimp with a limp. Because we called him the pimp with a limp. And he called us stuff back. But that's just how we were growing up.
Okay. So you catch that? Timmy has a short leg, wears an orthopedic shoe. Some of the kids would call him Pimp with the Limp, and he would just call them names right back. You know, they included, so we were inclusive. It didn't matter what race you were. It didn't matter if you had a disability. You know, we were kids and we played, you know, and I really like that about what he said. He's like, we protected, you know, Timmy was one of us and we protected him. But he stood up for himself. You know, they didn't like baby him over it, but yeah, he would just call them names back, and it was all good with everybody, you know. So like I said, there's kind of a difference between bullying, like bad bullying, and teasing, you know, kids teasing and not being offended at every little thing. You know, we didn't need all these laws and rules and stuff because we took care of our own, you know. Moving along. Okay, nothing to see here. Move along. Okay, whatever you guys are talking about. Gibbo. Remember when you was a kid, you'd find loads of change on a day out. Now people are so broke, you find nothing but IOUs. Yeah. I used to love picking up change. Then you have like a big jar, and then when the jar's full, you go, you know, take it to the bank and get roll, you know, get the paper rolls and then stick them all in the paper rolls, and then you take the rolls to the bank and get dollars. Okay, Chalet.
That was just the beginning of our military training. Another thing that we did, most of us had to go to church every Sunday. We was forced to go. Not only did we have our Bible, Generation X had a second Bible, and it was this right here. If you know, you know. So every Tuesday or Wednesday night, we was right there at Boy Scout meetings, doing our thing, the little woofs, the bear, all that. Our whole goal was to learn about life, learn how to survive, and get them patches, because we wanted to show the other troops when we went to camp, we was the baddest ones. And that's how we got a lot of our unity, because there was a lot of Boy Scouts at that time, even Girl Scouts. But we did our camps 2 or 3 times a year. Hundreds of Boy Scouts, all colors, all races came together, and we were one unit. And I think that was a military operation. That had to be a military operation. Don't tell me that it wasn't. If something happened right now, you get a Gen Xer, most of us could go out and start a fire with 2 sticks because we did it as a kid. We could build you shelter, because if we had sleepovers or the family or something came over and spent the night, we take everything in the house and we built tents out of blankets, pillow cushions, whatever you had. We did it. We were the ones who found resources and made them work to our advantage. That's Gen X. But I think eventually they found out that our mentality was a lot stronger than what they thought it was going to be, because we have no fear. Even stuff that we were scared of, we would try just to get it out of our system, because we were just that bold. We was just that bold of a generation to just try it and do it. And I don't even think we had a lot of hospitals, because if we broke something, we had to be almost dying before they took us to the hospital. I only remember going to the hospital probably once, and I ain't gonna even show you the scar, but it was horrible. But that's how we were raised. That's how we were brought up. We were brought up to respect one another, protect each other, respect the flag, leave nobody behind. But with that being said, that would have caused a problem for people who wanted to try and lead us astray, because we knew all the tactics, because you guys taught us since we was 7 and 8 years old on how to be a man, how to be a woman. how to use resources, how to figure out who was the leader and who wasn't, and who was the smart talker and who wasn't, and we all protected each other. I think that's why you don't see a lot of Gen X in office right now. They put a lot of stuff in place for us to raise our kids not to be what we are, because we're a prototype of something that they wasn't expecting. I truly believe that. So they put, can't whip the kids, can't do this, can't do that, because they knew how tough we were, but how silent we were. And if we acted on something, a lot of us didn't tell nobody unless it was just a small little group of us that was in that circle that knew. We were dangerous. We still are. I think that is the that's what I think Gen X was. Failed military operation. If you put us in power, everything will change overnight, because you can't hurt our feelings and we don't give a damn. Believe me when I say that. Like and subscribe to the channel if you're watching this video. I'll come back with more. All
right. So I should probably give this guy some credit. I got to watch a couple more of his before I decide to subscribe. If they're all like this, say it to my face. And oh, I did see one of his before. That's why he ended up now. Oh, but see, some of this stuff is like cars and stuff, so I don't know. But if you want to copy, if you want to check out some, there you go. Maven is smart. Okay. Yeah, dude was cool. Now I want to be distracted away from Maven in here anymore, so that it's us actually better. Won't be distracted. Yes. So that's what I got. That's what I got for tonight. I hope you guys had fun. And people are still erasing my comments in here is what's up. Okay. All right. I agree with what he says about that. That's why there's not a lot of Gen X people in office right now. Yeah, I mean, that was interesting. I wasn't expecting that at the end for him to talk about that. Yeah, don't worry. I don't want to talk about any drama here. We can talk about that outside the broadcast. Mumsy says, good show. Yes. Gonna be good, honest fun. Just gonna be honest, hun. I mean, okay. How did I misread that? Okay. So I'm gonna say good night for now. Love you. Great show. Thank you. Wasn't AI or YouTube you checked. Okay. I get you. Stop talking about it. Okay. Remove my moderator status so they shut up about whatever it is they're talking about. Please stay away that stupid blue wrench. Thank you. I will. When I'm done, I'll go and I'll take them both off. And it's not big enough to need moderators, you know. Yeah, because you're welcome. Everybody's welcome. There's not going to be any more wrenches. But I can't do that in StreamYard. Okay. So, and then everybody's going to come back for the next show and we're all going to have fun. Good afternoon and have a good night. Thank you. And so what we want to think about right now is love. All right. So love transcends time and space. Don't forget that. And wherever and whenever you are watching this, I love you. I do. I love all of you. Okay. Yes, hugs. And so I'm going to end the show so there's no more comments. Because I love you all. Okay. Bye-bye. See you next time.